Travis Hunter was treated poorly by Alimony, but he really loved her because she was older and she was out of school and he was in high school, but she stayed the entire time. But then, as people started bringing up receipts, we started to see some level of flaw in the behavior of Alimony's past.
When you step inside the courtroom, the air feels heavy, almost thick enough to touch. Every eye in the room seems to be locked on one man, Travis Hunter. He sits stiff and tense, his jaw clenched so tightly you could almost hear the grind of his teeth. Across from him, his ex-wife's legal team sits poised, ready to speak. When they reveal their demand, the room reacts like someone just dropped a bomb. $14 million. Not as a starting point. Not as a negotiation. But as a firm demand. No sense, no small talk, just a jaw-dropping figure that instantly takes over headlines around the world. According to the court papers, this money isn't just meant for regular support. Her attorneys call it lifestyle preservation, meaning she believes she should keep the exact same standard of living she enjoyed during the marriage. Private jets. Luxury vehicles. Multiple high-end homes. Annual personal retreats. Designer wardrobes. It's all listed as necessary. But this isn't just about the number. The timing makes it even messier. Only weeks earlier, social media was buzzing with whispers about their marriage falling apart, rumors of cheating, controlling behavior, and emotional manipulation spreading like wildfire. For those who side with Hunter, this $14 million demand feels less like fair compensation and more like a direct attack, aimed at draining his wealth because of his fame and fortune. Hunter sits still, eyes fixed on the judge, but you can see the tension in his body. His shoulders pull tight the moment his ex-wife's lawyer repeats the word uncompromising. His own lawyer wastes no time pushing back, calling the demand financially abusive and completely disconnected from reality. The air grows tense until the judge's gavel cracks sharply against the bench, breaking the silence. People in the gallery begin to murmur, dividing themselves into two camps: those who believe this is the price of ending a high-profile marriage, and those who see it as an attempt to take every penny he's earned. Then, her lawyers put their evidence on full display. A breakdown of the $14 million demand appears on a screen for everyone to see. The numbers are staggering. $250,000 per year for personal image upkeep. $400,000 per year for travel. $1.2 million annually to maintain multiple properties. And a one-time $5 million transition adjustment. The last term draws gasps. Even the judge raises an eyebrow, asking the lawyer to explain. Her team says the transition adjustment is to ensure emotional stability and maintain her lifestyle after the split. To some in the room, it sounds like polished language for a massive payday. Then, she takes the stand. Calm. Controlled. Confident. She speaks about how she supported him behind the scenes, turning down her own career opportunities so she could stand by him. She says they built everything together, and that the figure isn't about greed but about recognizing the sacrifices she made. You can't just walk away from more than 10 years of building a life without making sure you can keep living the life you helped create, she says softly. Hunter doesn't look at her once. His eyes stay locked on the table, his finger tapping slowly and steadily, the only hint of the storm raging inside. The whispers in the gallery grow louder. Some people nod in agreement with her. Others shake their heads at what they see as an outrageous amount. When Hunter's financial advisor takes the stand, the mood shifts again. Speaking in a calm, clinical tone, he explains that paying $14 million under the proposed terms would wipe out nearly 30% of Hunter's liquid assets within 5 years. He outlines how taxes, ongoing obligations, and the loss of investment income would snowball into an even bigger financial problem. A chart flashes on the screen, showing Hunter's net worth dropping year after year if the alimony goes through as proposed. Even some of the people who had doubted him now look surprised. This isn't sustainable, the advisor says firmly, his voice echoing in the silent courtroom. Then comes another twist. The defense introduces a set of text messages, allegedly sent by Hunter's ex-wife to a close friend shortly before she filed for divorce. One message reportedly reads, "This will be the biggest payday I can get." I'll finally get what I deserve after years of being quiet. The authenticity of the texts isn't fully confirmed, but the fact that they exist sparks a new wave of whispers. For the first time that morning, Hunter's posture changes. His jaw tightens. His shoulders square. He leans forward as if ready to speak, but his lawyer rests a hand on his arm, a silent command to stay quiet. By the time court breaks for lunch, the sides are more divided than ever. Her supporters say she's simply fighting for what she's owed. His camp calls it a calculated financial ambush. When the hearing resumes, the prosecution turns to evidence about their lavish lifestyle during the marriage, expensive vacations in the Maldives, yacht parties with champagne flowing, closets filled with designer bags. Her lawyers argue that she has the right to maintain that level of luxury. This isn't about wanting more, her attorney says firmly. It's about keeping the life she helped build. Mr. Hunter's career gave him the spotlight, but the sacrifices behind that career were hers. Hunter's defense paints another picture. They bring out bank statements showing $250,000 in large, unapproved withdrawals from joint accounts in the weeks before she filed for divorce. This is not how someone acts when they're seeking stability, his lawyer says. This is someone preparing to take as much as possible. The judge leans forward, more engaged now, as both sides spar over whether this is genuine support or calculated excess. Outside the courthouse, the story is exploding. Social media is flooded with clips from the trial. One post reads, $14 million for alimony? That's generational wealth, not financial help. Another fires back, why should she downgrade her life just because they split? She lived that way with him. The trial's next witness is a forensic accountant hired by Hunter's team. He presents 5 years' worth of financial records, personal, joint, and business. His conclusion is blunt: Hunter's NFL income is high now, but after his career ends, his earnings will drop sharply. A $14 million payout now would leave his long-term stability in serious jeopardy. Her team isn't shaken. They counter with emails and texts in which Hunter allegedly promised to always take care of her. One message from an off-season vacation reads, "You'll never have to worry about money again." Her lawyers argue that this promise is exactly what the $14 million represents. Reporters type frantically as each new piece of evidence unfolds. Online debates grow more heated. Is this about fairness, or about who can spin the better story in the court of public opinion? Then, Hunter's lawyer drops another bomb: private financial documents showing purchases his ex-wife made in the months before the split, jewelry, international trips, high-end designer goods. To his team, it's proof she was inflating her lifestyle in preparation for negotiations. Her lawyers fire back that these purchases were part of the life Hunter had agreed to provide during the marriage, and that the law considers the couple's established standard of living when deciding alimony. In their view, the $14 million simply keeps her where she's always been. The judge stays mostly silent, occasionally jotting notes while evidence flies across the courtroom like punches in a heavyweight fight. The gallery reacts in waves, gasps at high price tags, murmurs when legal precedents are cited. Outside, the media frenzy grows. Paparazzi crowd both parties, shouting questions about greed, betrayal, and whether this fight is about justice or revenge. Hashtags like Hunter divorce and 14 million fight dominate trending lists. As the gavel finally strikes to end the day, one thing is certain: this battle is far from over. The stakes are high, the emotions even higher, and both sides seem determined to win, not just in court, but in the court of public opinion. Is this still about a marriage that fell apart? Or has it turned into something far bigger, a dangerous game of pride, power, and public image, where the truth might not matter as much as who walks out looking like the winner? The next morning, the courthouse feels different. The air is heavy, and the hallways are buzzing with even more reporters than the day before. Cameras are lined up shoulder to shoulder. Microphones stretch forward like weapons, ready to capture any word from either side. There are whispers that a settlement might be in the works, but when the session begins, it's obvious no one is giving an inch. Hunter sits at the defense table, his jaw locked, eyes fixed on the polished wood in front of him. He doesn't move, doesn't flinch. Across the room, his ex-wife leans toward her lawyer, speaking in low whispers. She doesn't look at him once. The tension between them feels like a wall you could almost touch. Then the clerk announces one last piece of evidence. The screen lights up with an email chain between the two of them, messages sent months before the marriage officially ended. In one of her emails, she writes about what is owed and how she won't leave with nothing. The defense pounces on those words, saying they prove this fight was brewing long before the public even knew the marriage was in trouble. They say $14 million has nothing to do with survival, it's about punishment. About taking him down both personally and professionally. His lawyer reminds the court that this demand comes at the worst possible time when endorsement deals hang in the balance, and NFL management is watching closely to see how the public reacts. This isn't just a divorce, he says, it's an attack on his career. Then, something no one expected happens. The judge leans forward and speaks directly to both of them. His voice is calm but carries weight. If there's no agreement, he says, the next step will be full disclosure. Every account. Every asset. Every transaction. Nothing will be off the table. The words hit like a hammer. The gallery goes silent. For Hunter, this is a chance, maybe the only chance, to prove his fortune isn't as massive as her side claims. For her, it's a warning. The deeper they dig, the more they might find, and not all of it will be flattering. The silence stretches. You can feel the room split in two. Half believes she's pushing too far. The other half believes he's hiding something. When the judge adjourns for the day, the tension doesn't break. It follows them outside, where the world is waiting. The courthouse steps are a battlefield of flashing lights and shouted questions. Cameras swarm. Reporters demand answers. Is there going to be a settlement? Do you think the other side is being greedy? Is $14 million fair? Neither of them says a single word. They walk toward each other on the same path, but with eyes fixed straight ahead, passing like strangers locked in a war too public to ignore and too personal to forgive. In that moment, it's clear this isn't just about money anymore. It's about ego. It's about power. It's about making sure the other person walks away with less than you do, even if it means tearing each other apart in the process. That $14 million? It's no longer just a number on paper. It's a line in the sand. A symbol of everything they're fighting for and everything they're willing to lose. And if neither side is willing to cross that line, then this battle is only just beginning.